Right, guys, good to see you. Good to see you. So, in today's video, we're going to be answering a very important question. And that is, can you use your home address as your business address? I say it's important because there are certain individuals who are thinking of starting a business. They haven't got an official address or an office for their business, so they're considering using their home address as their business's address. So can you use your home address as your business address? Is that even a good idea? Okay, that's what we're going to be talking about right now. So let's dive straight into it. Okay, so can you use your home address as your business address? Well, the short answer is yes, you certainly can. Okay, as far as I know, there are no rules prohibiting you from using your home address as your business address if you choose to do so. However, using your home address as your business address does come with certain problems that you should be aware of. All right. And if you're thinking of doing this, by the end of this video, you'll be better informed and you might want to reconsider. All right. So just stick around and we're going to address what those problems are. Now, the first problem with using your home address as your business address is the fact that you are exposing where you live to other people. So let me explain what I mean. Okay. When you start a business, if people want to find out about your business, so say for instance, you have a limited company or you set up a limited company, and here in the UK, limited companies are required to make their details publicly available. So anybody can find out about your business through Companies House. So if you're using your home address as your business address, that means that anybody who wants to find out about your business can also find out where you live. Now, I don't know about you, but that's not something that I would personally be comfortable with. I would prefer for my home address to be kept private. In addition, many businesses, and I'm sure you are aware of this, many businesses use email correspondence or have an email newsletter. It's standard practice for businesses to put their address at the bottom of the email, so at the footer of the email. So if you're using your home address as your business address, anybody who reads your emails, any of your newsletter subscribers, or the people that you contact via email, all of those people can potentially find out where you live. So I'm sure you can see where I'm going. It's generally not a good idea. And it's even worse if you put your company details on your website, which in and of itself isn't a problem, but it will become a problem if you use your home address as your business address. And that's now on your website, where anybody around the world with access to the internet can now get hold of that information. Once again, that's something that I would not feel comfortable with. So that's the first problem with using your home address as your business address. The fact that you are exposing where you live to potentially anyone. That's not great. Okay. Now, the second problem with using your home address as your business address is the fact that, all right, as of right now, at the time of this recording, I am currently preparing to move house. I've had to change address several times over the years, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. You might be in a similar situation depending on where you live. You might be moving house in the future, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, if you've used your home address as your business address, that means that each time you move house, you have to also update your business's address. Now, some people might be okay with that, but it's just an extra hassle which is better for you to avoid. Having to update your business's address every time you move house isn't the best option. It's much better if your home address is kept private, at least for your own security and peace of mind. Your home address should be kept private, and your business address is something that's constant or fixed. So your business should have an official address. Now, depending on the type of business you run, you may or may not have an official address. for your business. So I'll give you an example. Imagine you run a hairdresser's or nail salon. In that case, you need a studio or an office, okay, for your work, obviously. If you're doing people's nails or doing haircuts, you need a studio. And that studio or office will now be the address for your business. But not all businesses have a studio, or not all businesses need a studio or have an office. Say, for instance, you're running an online business, okay, or you're working remotely. In that case, you don't need a storefront or an office or studio. So how would you get around it in that situation? Well, in that case, you basically have two options. The first option would be to rent out a physical building or an office and use that as the address for your business. Now, you could certainly do this, but the problem is that it's going to cost you a lot of money. I'm talking of hundreds and hundreds, or in some cases, even more than that, hundreds and hundreds of pounds every month. And you're having to pay all that money just to have an address for your business, even though you are probably not having to use that building for anything. Okay, you don't actually need this building for your business. You're just renting it out just to have an address for your business. Even if you have a lot of money, I don't think that's a great option. You can do it if you want, but there is a better alternative, which rolls me on to the second option, and that is to get a virtual office. Now, what is a virtual office? Okay, a virtual office is a physical location which you can rent out in exchange for a small monthly fee, and which you can then use as the address for your business. So I'll say it again. Okay, the virtual office is physical location which you can rent out in exchange for a small monthly fee, and which you can then use as the address for your business. If you go online, if you check on Google, you will find many virtual office providers. Okay, they're all great, or at least most of them are decent and would provide great services. You could theoretically go with any of these. However, the one that I would recommend is Virtually There. Okay, Virtually There specializes in providing virtual offices for businesses in a wide range of prestigious locations across the UK. Okay, I'm talking of virtual offices in influential UK cities and towns like Birmingham, Nottingham, Liverpool, London. Okay, so even if you want to have a virtual office in somewhere like Birmingham or our capital, London, with Virtually There, you can have that organized. You can have that set up. And what you pay is a very small fraction of what you would have if you were to rent out a building, like in the previous example. Okay, with a virtual office, you are typically going to be paying about maybe 20 to 30 pounds a month. Now, with Virtually There, what you pay depends on where you want your virtual office. So, if you have a virtual office in Manchester, you'll probably be paying a different amount compared to what you would have paid if you had a virtual office in Birmingham or London. So someone who has a virtual office in Manchester would be paying a different amount from someone who has a virtual office in Newcastle or London. Okay, that's how it works. The price varies depending on your chosen location. But no matter where you choose to have your virtual office, what you would be paying would be a lot less than renting out an office yourself or a building yourself. One of the things I really like about Virtually There is the fact that the sign up and onboarding process is generally smooth and straightforward. As part of the registration, you have to obviously, verify your identity. And in the process, you have to choose an identification document. I strongly recommend using your passport, as it's generally considered to be the strongest form of identification. Okay, so try and use your passport if you can. And you can choose to do the verification either on your computer, your PC, or you can do it on your smartphone. For best results, I recommend use your passport and do it on your smartphone. Once you've completed the verification process, you should get a confirmation by email. and everything is just very, very smooth and intuitive. At the end, you have an address, okay? You have an address that you can use as the official address for your business, okay? You can put it on your website, your advertising and marketing materials. You can put it at the bottom of your email. And in addition, you have access to an online portal where you can manage details about your business. Another great thing about Virtually There is their mail scanning service. So with Virtually There, you get, I think the last time I checked, it's about 10 free mail scans every month. So if you receive any mail correspondence, okay, that could be from company's house, the bank, anyone, okay? If you receive any mail correspondence, they will scan it and send it to you. And that's great because it's not only convenient, but it saves you having to spend money traveling to the place in order to collect it yourself. And Virtually There gives you 10 of those for free. So that's something else that's really, really nice about Virtually There. So if you're thinking of getting a virtual office for your business, or if you've come to this point in the video and you realize that getting a virtual office might be the thing for you, I strongly recommend using Virtually There. Now to find out, okay, make sure you check out the link in the description below. Okay, so I put the link where you can sign up and find out about Virtually There. It's a great service and something that I strongly recommend. So if you are one of those people who was considering using your home address as your business address, I'm hoping you now know why that's probably not a good idea. And I'm hoping that you now have a better alternative. All right. Your business should have an official address. And if you don't have an address for your company, then getting a virtual office is your best bet. All right. So guys, if you found this useful, do consider subscribing for more and feel free to share this with anybody else who might find it useful. Thank you very much.